I am Rayen. Today we are going to dive deep into one of the most important and foundational models in economics, the circular flow of income. Now, why is this model so important? Because it explains how money, goods, and resources move around in an economy. It answers very basic but powerful questions like where does your income come from? When you spend it, where does it go? And how does this connect to businesses, government, and even foreign countries? By the end of this lesson, you will not only understand this model but also be able to explain how your own daily activities, going to work, buying a product, paying taxes, and even importing something online fit into the bigger economic picture. Let's start simple and then build step by step into a realistic modern economy. We begin with the most basic version, the two-sector economy. Here, we only have two groups. One, households. That's you, me, every family. Households own the factors of production. These are labor, our work skills and time, land, natural resources like soil, forests, and water, capital, machinery, equipment, money invested, entrepreneurship, the ability to organize resources and take business risk. 2. Farms. These are businesses. They produce the goods and services we consume. Anything from bread baked in a bakery to cars assembled in a factory. Now, how do these two groups interact? Through the two main flows. Flow number 1, the factor market. Households supply factors of production to farms. For example, when you go to work, you are providing labor. If you own land and rent it out, you are providing land. If you invest money into a business, that's capital. And if you start a business yourself, that's entrepreneurship. In return, farms pay incomes. You earn wages for labor, rent for land, interest for capital, and profit for entrepreneurship. Flow number 2, the goods and services market. Once households have income, what do they do with it? They spend it on goods and services produced by farms. We buy bread, clothing, mobile phones, transportation, everything businesses provide. So the cycle is complete. Resources go from households to farms, money flows back to households as income. Households spend their money on goods. Goods flow from farms back to households. This is why it's called the circular flow, because money and goods are constantly moving in a loop. Quick example. Think about your own life. You might work as a software company. At a software company, that company pays you a salary. You use the part of the salary to buy groceries. The grocery store is a farm. It uses your money to pay wages to its employees, rents to its landlord, and profits to its owner. And the cycle continues. Adding realism, the three-sector economy. Of course, real economics are not just households and farms. There's a very important player we need to add, the government. When we include the government, we move to the three-sector economy. So now we have households, farms, government. How do the government fit in? First, through taxation. The government collects money from households in the form of income tax and from farms in the form of business tax or VAT. Taxes are a leakage because they take money out of the circular flow. Second, through government spending. The government spends money on schools, hospitals, roads, salaries of public servants, defense, and subsidies for industries. This is an injection because it puts money back into the economy. So taxes are leakages, but government spending is an injection. Example, when you pay taxes, the money goes into the government's budget. The government then use it to pay teachers, build highways, and provide health care. The money flows back to households and farms. In this way, the government plays a balancing role. It takes money out of the economy but also puts money back in. Sometimes even more than it takes, sometimes less, depending on policy. Key point. If government spending is greater than taxes, the government runs a deficit. It injects more than it takes out. If government spending is less than taxes, the government runs a surplus. It takes money out of than it injects back. So, in the three sector model, the circular flow is not just between households and farms anymore. The government is actively shaping the flow by collecting and redistributing money. Adding the financial sector, savings and investment. Now, let's make the model even more realistic by considering what happens when households don't spend all their income. Do you spend every dollar you earn? Probably not. Some of it you save in banks, in stock markets, or as investments. This introduces the financial system into the circular flow. Savings are considered as a leakage because when households save instead of spend, money leaves the direct flow of spending on goods. But those savings don't just disappear. Banks and other financial institutions lend that money to farms who use it for investment to build factories, buy new machinery, or expand production. So, investment is an injection into the economy. Balance condition. For stability, savings should equal investment. If savings are higher than investment, money is sitting idle, leading to slower growth. If investment is higher than savings, it could lead to inflation or borrowing from abroad. Example, suppose households have 1000 grand in a bank. The bank then loans that 1000 grand to a farmer who buys new equipment. That equipment boosts for food production, creating more goods for households to buy. The money flows back into the economy. So now, in our model, we have four participants: households, farms, government, and the financial system. Each creates either leakages or injections. The last and the final one, the fourth sector economy, the foreign sector. Finally, let's add the last sector, the foreign sector. No economy is completely isolated. We trade with the rest of the world. Two key flows happen here. One, imports, and the other one is exports. In imports, goods and services we buy from other countries is called import. For example, when you buy a smartphone made in another country, money leaves your domestic economy. Imports are a leakage. And on the other hand, goods and services we sell to other countries are exports. For example, if your country exports garments, steels, or software, money comes in. Exports are an injection. Trade balance. If exports are equal imports, the flow is balanced. If exports are greater than imports, money is flowing in. This is a trade surplus. If imports are greater than exports, money is leaking out. This is a trade deficit. Let's recap everything step by step. In the two-sector model, we had households and farms. Households supply factors. Farms pay income, households spend, and farms produce goods. A simple cycle. In a three-sector model, we added the government. Taxes are leakages, spending is injections. Then we add the financial sector, savings and leakages. Investment is injections. Bank balance requires savings equal investment. Finally, in the four-sector model, we included the foreign sector. Imports are leakages, exports are injections. Balance requires exports equal imports. Now the big picture. All economies are constantly moving money in and out through these flows. When leakages are greater than injections, in economics shrinks. When injections are greater than leakages, economy grows. This model explains why recessions happen, why government spending can boost growth, why saving too much can slow the economy, and why international trade matters. So, The next time you get a paycheck, save money in a bank, pay taxes, or buy an imported product, remember you are part of this incredible circular flow of income. Thank you for watching, and I hope you now see the economy not as a set of abstract numbers but as a living cycle that you participate in every single life. So, see you